What's up, everybody? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king. LadySpeech in the place to be, and I want to welcome you back to this here channel. You could be anywhere in the world. Absolutely, positively anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world, and you're also sharing a bit of time and space with me, so thank you, thank you, thank you. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this and if you're feeling me, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with all of my shenanigans and happenings and goings-ons and things. Now that that intro is done, let's get into today's video, shall we? All right, y'all. As you can see from today's video, we about to get all of the way into it. So let's hop right in. Today's video is inspired yet again by my TikTok. So if you are on TikTok and you're looking for some quality content, go ahead and follow me. Shameless plug, LadySpeech Sankofa. Follow me on TikTok. And if you're on Twitter, go ahead and hit the follow on there as well. It couldn't hurt, baby. It couldn't hurt. My Twitter is LadySpeech. Okay? Okay. Anyway, back to the lesson at hand. This video is inspired by my TikTok, a video that I posted on there, and then I've been answering questions about that video on TikTok. So I promised I would do a longer video, a series of longer videos on my YouTube page, and here we are taking care of that. So we're going to get into shadow work today, and today we're just going to get into the basics of shadow work. I have a couple of videos planned where I'm going to break down a lot more in-depth things in regards to tips and tricks, how to get started, all that good stuff in regards to shadow work. However, today we are just gonna cover the basics, okay? We're gonna talk about shadow work, what it is, why it's beneficial, and how you can begin your journey and doing your shadow work. So, what is shadow work? Shadow work is the healing, the confronting, the deconstructing, the acknowledging of all of the things we like to keep hidden or in the shadows or tucked away in the background. Shadow work refers to working with internalized hatred, self-loathing, self-doubt. Shadow work is working with looking at internalized fat phobia, racism, sexism, misogynoir. Shadow work is dealing with addictions, vices, mental health issues. Shadow work is dealing with looking at, confronting, addressing our pain, our trauma, our deepest fears. When we speak about shadow work, we're speaking about looking at thought patterns and behaviors and ancestral history, familial history, personal history in regards to different issues and behaviors in our lives. Shadow work is confronting internalized and indoctrinated homophobia. Shadow work is looking at, addressing, confronting, healing internalized transphobia. Shadow work is not surface work. Shadow work is deep, in-depth work. Shadow work requires that we go back and revisit painful experiences. Shadow work requires that we go back and deconstruct the way that we were raised, the way that we were indoctrinated. Shadow work requires that we look at our influences from the past, being honest about how, where, and when they influenced us on certain matters, and looking at that. Shadow work is deep work, and shadow work often requires assistance. Not always, and not all parts of shadow work require assistance, but some shadow work does. Shadow work includes and is not limited to reading books about whatever issue that you are currently deconstructing or attacking or going after. It can include talking to therapists. It can include talking with spiritual guides. It can include dissecting this and uncovering things and unpacking things with friends and family. Shadow work can be done in ritual. It can be done in ceremony. It can be done in therapy. Shadow work can be done when we're just thinking and reminiscing and processing our thoughts and our feelings and emotions about a particular subject. There are all kinds of ways and methods to come at shadow work. All kinds of ways and methods to come at shadow work. So what are the benefits of shadow work? AKA, why the hell should you even do it? Hunty, let me tell you something. Shadow work, the number one benefit of doing shadow work, being consistent with your shadow work, diving and going deep into your shadow work, is that it will enhance every single aspect of your life. Doing shadow work helps you in every aspect of your life, from your finances to your sex life, to your spirituality and your magic, to your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Doing your shadow work, staying on top of your shadow work, makes you a better mother, a better father, a better sibling, a better child, a better co-worker, a better spouse, a better temple member, a better congregation member, a better entrepreneur, a better boss, a better everything. Doing your shadow work enhances every single aspect of your life because it forces you to look at things, to confront things, to address things, to heal things from their root. When you confront shadow work, not only are you doing and carving out a whole lot of healing for yourself, you are also carving out a whole lot of healing on behalf of your ancestors and your lineage. Doing our deep shadow work also helps us to not pass down or to pass down less trauma and less pain to the 7 generations that are coming after us. Doing your shadow work and staying up on your shadow work, being consistent with your shadow work, makes you a better person. And shadow work is something that you're not just going to undertake one time. It's something that you're going to keep revisiting, that you're going to come back to, that you're going to confront, that you're going to utilize, that you're going to look at different points, at different times in your life. You're not going to always be occupied with doing the shadow work because you got to get busy living in this piece, okay? But there are going to be times when you're going to be called in. You're going to be called inward into yourself, and you're going to be tasked with looking at these things that you don't want to look at. You're going to be tasked to look at the root of some of these issues. You're going to be tasked to look at a lot of the painful aspects of your life. You're going to be tasked with looking at, with healing, with addressing, with confronting different parts of you. And I can guarantee you from experience, as someone who does their shadow work and as someone who helps other people do their own shadow work, nothing but good things come from doing your shadow work. Is the shadow work hard? Oh, yes, baby. This ain't no walk in the park, okay? Shadow work ain't no walk in the park, and it's not for the faint of heart. As a matter of fact, it's for the most gangster. It's for the most gangster witches. It's for the most gangster spiritualists. It's for the most gangster mothers and fathers and people and parents. It's for the most gangster of us all, because it's deep confronting. It's looking at yourself. It's acknowledging that you are so very wonderful and amazing and a complete genius. And you are also You are also so very problematic. You also have some things that need to be improved. You also have some things in your life to look at and heal. There's ways that you have been monstrous to other people. And you know what? That's human. That's human. That's all of us. That's all of us. That's all of us. Nobody's better than anybody. And every single one of us, you and I, your favorites, my favorites, your mama, my mama, your daddy, my daddy, your parents, my parents, your siblings, my siblings, your coworkers, my coworkers, everybody on this planet is genius and wonderful and divine in some way. And everybody is somebody's monster in their story. You are a villain in someone's story. If you haven't, give it 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 hours, 5 weeks, you will be. But doing your shadow work allows you to confront those things. It gives you ways, it gives you resources to confront, to heal, and also to make amends. Doing your shadow work will help you to be a better village member, a better community member. Doing your shadow work allows you to be called out and called in, and then you're able to do something with being called out and being called in. You're able to do your healing work. Doing your shadow work also helps keep that ego at bay. It helps your ego not to get too overboard or out of control, okay? Doing your shadow work helps every single aspect of your life. It helps every single aspect of your life. Yes. Is it hard? Is it worth it? Oh, yes. Is it worth it? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The level of release that you feel, the level of relief that you feel, the level of clarity, direction, and grounding you feel every single time you do your shadow work, it's immeasurable. It's profound. It's amazing. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So when it comes to shadow work, where the hell do you start? Simple. You start with where you are and where you're at. When it comes to shadow work and where you begin, it is literally that. You're going to start with the fears that are hindering you right now. You're going to start with the mental health issues you're working through right now. You're going to start with the triggers in regards to old pain and trauma that you're going through right now. And if you happen to be in a really solid, good, amazing place in your life, that's amazing. You can do shadow work even in those places. And I actually suggest people get on top of their shadow work when they're not in times of crisis. Oftentimes, times of crisis point to some shadow work that we need to work with, whether it be our trauma, our pain, triggers, aspects, things that happened in our childhood, trauma that we experienced in our young adulthood, or at any point in our lives. You know what I'm saying? So oftentimes, times of chaos, times of trauma, times of strife, times of challenge, point us in the direction that we need to go to in regards to what type of shadow work we need to be doing, okay? However, if we are in a good space and we know our patterns, if we know the things that we deal, the themes in our lives that we deal with quite often, in those good times, in those up times, you can get on top of that work by targeting that work. If you understand what your patterns are, if you understand the things that you've dealt with in your past, from emotional issues to mental health issues, spiritual health issues, ancestral issues, in regards to any of your issues, your fears, your thoughts, and your emotions, if you're in a good space right now, but you know that you struggle with letting your fears rule you, if you know you struggle with letting your addictions rule you, you can also come at, attack, go at, heal, dissect, address these things that have to do with our shadow self in times of goodness, in times of highest self-esteem, in times of good mental health, when we're really feeling balanced, when we're really feeling grounded in regards to our mental health. So you start with where you're at. You start with where you are. You start with what you have dealt with in the past. You start with yourself. You start with here and now. You start with things that have troubled you in the past. I'm going to tell you this. Shadow work requires an intense level of honesty. An intense level of honesty. It also comes with an intense level of self-accountability, okay? And deep, effective shadow work. Deep, effective shadow work requires commitment. It requires that you are committed, because this is a journey. It's a whole journey. Shadow work is a journey. And shadow work, you are going to bite off and dissect, and attack and heal and address different parts of it. There's layers to this. There's layers and there's levels. So shadow work requires commitment, because sometimes you're going to bite off big chunks and big pieces and chew that up and process that and do away with it or do what you're supposed to do with it. And sometimes you're going to bite off a little bitty chunk of it, because that's all you can do at that point in time. And you're going to process that little bitty chunk of it, and then you're going to file that away and then bite off the next chunk of it, okay? So shadow work is about starting with where you're at, what you got going on now, what you've been dealing with in the past, what is coming up now as far as in regards to what needs to be healed or issues that you're dealing with. You're going to start with where you're at and where you are. So, how do you start shadow work? Well, you're going to start with acknowledging that shadow work is important and that it needs to be done and that you are committed to it. And then you're going to continue with asking for help when and where you need it. I mentioned earlier that shadow work, lots of shadow work, key parts of shadow work are going to be done alone, and some parts of shadow work, key parts of shadow work, other parts of shadow work are going to be done with other people. So you're going to start with asking for help. First and foremost, from your spiritual team, from your God, your goddess, your ancestors, your spirit animal allies, your guardian angels. You're going to start there. You're going to start with asking for help and assistance from your spiritual team. And then you're going to continue with asking for help and assistance from professionals. Some of these professionals may be psychiatrists, therapists. Some of these professionals may be healers, gurus, guides, and spiritual practitioners. But you're going to ask for support from that level. And then you're going to get support from your friends, from your village, from your support system that is very much physical and has everything to do with your community and who you live with and who you commune with, okay? You might utilize books. You might find mantras and videos. You're going to utilize all types of resources in regards to working with, healing, dissecting, addressing shadow work. A few points I wanted to reiterate about shadow work. Shadow work is lifelong commitment. You'll always have shadow work to do. This is not a one and done situation. This is not a situation where, oh, I addressed one issue and that's done for good and I have no other issues to address. No. Shadow work is a lifelong commitment. Shadow work requires that you don't have yes men around you. What does that mean? Some of us collect people who just say yes, who will co-sign any and everything we throw at them because we give them a level of clout, a level of security, or an equal level of exchange. So that means that they're not really out for our highest good, they're out for their highest good. And they'll tell us whatever we need to be told in order for them to get their needs met. Don't function in this way. Make sure you have people around you who will praise you, who will offer you love and joy, and also criticism that is rooted in pure love and the need to see you succeed. Shadow work isn't easy. It's hard. And shadow work will also and often lead you to moments where you see the truth of yourself, where you see the truth of a lot of people that you love that have influenced you. Shadow work is not for the faint of heart. Shadow work is not for the weak. Shadow work is for the strong. And I want to let you know that you are strong enough to handle, to confront, to dissect, to look at, to see, to address, and to ultimately fix everything you got going on. You are strong enough to handle your shadow work. You are strong enough to handle your shadow work. You are strong enough, gangster enough, prepared enough to handle your shadow work. In the case of shadow work, and how do I begin? Number one, acknowledge that you need help with your shadow work. Acknowledge that there is work to do in the shadow realm. And do not judge yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself. Number two, commit to the fact that this is a lifelong journey. You're gonna always have to confront your shadow work. And when you acknowledge the fact that this is a lifelong journey, that takes a bit of pressure off. You don't have to fix everything right now, right this instant. Also, you don't have the ability or the skill set or the resources to fix everything that's wrong with you in this moment, right here and right now. When you commit yourself to the process, you commit yourself to the ebbs and flows. You commit yourself to the times when you are gonna do a lot of work in an accelerated fashion. And also you're gonna commit to the times when there is no work being done, or when there is slow work being done. Commitment is key. Number three, asking for help. Asking for help from, number one, your spiritual team and family. Number two, your physical team, support system, and family. And number three, yourself. And number four, strangers that are equipped and trained to help you. In order to work through your shadow work and your shadow self, there are going to be moments where it's super important, to be alone and to sit and settle with your thoughts, your feelings, with the memories that are coming up. There are going to be moments that are integral to your healing, that are all about aloneness, that are all about introspection, that are all about the turning and tuning into the self. Then there are going to be moments when you will require, you will benefit from the help of a guru, a guide, spiritual or otherwise, mental or otherwise. You will need help from someone who is trained to help you process your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Sometimes this looks like therapists. This looks like psychoanalysts. This looks like spiritual counselors and healers. It looks like a lot of things. It looks like a lot of things. But the most important thing is that you acknowledge that when you need help on this journey, you are allowed and you give yourself permission to ask for the help that you desire and need. All right, y'all, that's it and that's all for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I hope you learned something. I hope this video benefited you. Now, a couple things. If you benefit from this content, if you benefit from this labor, if the work that I do enhances you, feel free to show your appreciation in many ways. But number one, I love it when you comment, when you subscribe, when you like my things. I love it when you follow me and when you show your appreciation in all those ways. Also, I love it, I adore it when you show your appreciation in the financial realm. The Cash App is LadySpeech and the Venmo is LadySpeech Sankova. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you made it to the end of this video, gold star for you. And you know the drill. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this and if you're feeling me, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notifications bells. You can keep up with all these here happenings and doings and shenanigans and things. Thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in. If you're an OG here, let me know by putting a butterfly in the comments. And if this is your first time, if you're new here, let me know by putting a caterpillar in the comments. Now, it's time for me to let you go. So I'm gonna do that. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.